Another strategy pursued by large media companies today is synergy, which is the promotion and sale of different versions of a media product across the various subsidiaries owned by a particular media conglomerate. We can see an example of this with Time Warner and its recent release of the new Superman movie, The Man of Steel. When Time Warner comes out with a film like this one featuring Superman, it can promote the film and encourage people to go see it in the range of different media that Time Warner owns in different media sectors, right? So, again, Time Warner owns Warner Brothers and other film studios where it makes films like The Man of Steel. Well, when it comes out with this film, it can be featured on stories on CNN that is owned by Time Warner. It can also be featured in its magazines like Entertainment Weekly, Time Magazine, that may do feature stories on The Man of Steel, right? Time Warner can also make use of its various media holdings to make even more money off of its films and provide more guaranteed exhibition of them, right? So Time Warner owns HBO, the premium cable service, and it also owns basic cable channels like TNT. So down the road, The Man of Steel and other films produced by Warner Brothers and other Time Warner Film Studios can be presented on HBO and TNT for further viewing of its films, right? So again, these media conglomerates all make use of this strategy of synergy, and you can see why, that it flows organically from the nature of the media conglomerate's holdings. I mean, if you have these media subsidiaries in television, film, music, book and magazine publishing, popular music, it's in your interest to collaborate among these various subsidiaries in different media sectors to promote your own products. But now, once again, the question is there an anti-competitive aspect to all of this? What about the independent film producer or musical artist? How do they get promotion for and publicity for their media product if they are not hooked into these media outlets that are owned by these larger media conglomerates? Another policy pursued by larger media conglomerates is the pursuit of global markets for their media products. Increasingly, when a media company releases a new television show or film or album by one of their signed artists, that media company wants people around the world to purchase that particular media product. These companies like Time Warner and Disney are not satisfied with just domestic revenues and sales of their media products here in the U.S. And these media companies have come to believe that international markets are the source of their future growth, expansion, and profitability. So, for instance, when Time Warner releases a new film, like the Superman film, The Man of Steel, right? Time Warner will seek to supplement its U.S. revenues from viewing of that film with sales and distribution of the film internationally. And film studios have come to rely on revenues from international sales and distribution of their films for, in some cases, a majority of their revenues. Right, sometimes more than 50% of sales of and viewing of a film may take place outside of the U.S. Now, why is it that these larger companies have explored global markets, and why have they been so successful in developing these global audiences for their products? Well, I think we can point to both economic arguments and arguments about the impact of technology. All right, in the realm of economics, these larger media companies have used their financial resources to acquire subsidiaries in many different countries around the world. All right, so that major companies like Time Warner and Disney have bought up TV stations or cable systems or distribution companies in various regions around the world, right? And these subsidiaries in other companies enable the parent firm to more easily distribute and sell its media product globally, right? These media conglomerates also establish relationships with media that are owned locally in other countries. So Time Warner, Disney, they may establish relationships with a cable network in Brazil to have their films shown on that TV channel, right? So economic factors here, but also there are issues about technology and how technology has enabled global markets for media products. With the development of digital technologies like the internet and the proliferation of satellite television, that's made it much easier for a media conglomerate to distribute their media products around the world digitally, all right? Because, again, if you are Time Warner, you can sell digital downloads of your media product via the internet globally, all right? Or Time Warner CNN can distribute its CNN program service internationally through satellite communication, satellite television. So economics and technology have enabled the proliferation of these global markets. Older traditional media industries have historically been dominated by an oligopoly of larger media conglomerates like Time Warner or Disney or News Corp. And one of the things that we've talked about in the chapter is that some critics have complained that these few larger companies have largely limited the range of ideas presented in mainstream media, and have kind of restricted the range of diverse views presented in their various media. Now, some early advocates of the internet argued that the development of the internet and related digital media would challenge and undermine the control of these established media conglomerates like Time Warner. Here the argument was that the internet would turn everybody into a producer, that we wouldn't be forced to simply watch TV shows on NBC or watch a new film by Warner Brothers produced by Time Warner, but instead we could all go online and explore a million different points of view presented on different websites, and we could all be our own producers, that we could all produce our own blogs, our own website, create and perform our own music that we could market and distribute online. Well, while there are certain possibilities for a more kind of creative expression on the internet, what we've also seen, though, as the internet has developed, is the emergence of a new set of dominant media companies with different names like Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google. And in their own way, each of these newer companies have developed a real stake in the internet and a dominant role in its development. Amazon through its online sales of books and other consumer products, Apple through its iTunes system and various attractive devices like iPads and iPods, Facebook through its social network networking system, and Google through its search engine. Despite that, the power and dominance of these new media firms, there still are opportunities for smaller companies and individuals to develop their own presence online. And it's much easier for people to develop a website and to become media producers through these new digital media than in previous media. It's much easier for somebody to launch their own website than to produce their own television show and film. But I guess there still remains a question about whether or not these larger new media companies and, frankly, the older established media conglomerates like Time Warner, whether or not they still have a dominant role in our media system today. It raises questions about just how open is our media system, even with the development of new media that have all of these new opportunities for us.